Hi, Rupa.
Hi, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, can you?
Yes, I can. Just want to adjust the volume today because there's a background construction work going on at our place.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. A very, very interesting concept to be explored
Yes.
today.
Yes. Makes me a little bit nervous.
Yes. But I think, as all our live talks have been today, if you are feeling nervous, then we are going to learn to trust.
Exactly. Yes. So this is rounding up a little bit in a way.
Yes, yes.
This, yeah, kind of I feel like that. What we were really talking about before.
True, true.
So I feel it is something that does not require a lot of words.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It,
Learning how to
yeah.
trust.
I think so. I've tried to kind of decode the mechanism of trust, and I don't think there is a mechanism. It's simply you trust or you
No,
don't.
there's
So I was trying to think, is there any way you can cultivate more trust but the truth is, even when you're trying to cultivate, you're very aware that you're trying to.
yeah.
So it's still not just that plain, simple, clean feeling of trust.
And what are we trusting?
Excellent question. Good question. I think there's so much that is going on in our lives which kind of adds, there's a lot of ups and downs which keep on happening. So I think trust is that mechanism wherein we say that whatever is working behind the scenes, which we can't see, will ultimately uh, have a scenario in our favor.
Okay. That's what the head says.
That's what the head says. Yeah, that's true. And if you ask the heart, it's very difficult to actually even express. So, this is one of the toughest topics I think I have when it comes to even speaking about or even just expressing myself because I find myself quite expressionless when it comes to saying or talking about trust. It's like my tongue gets tied because I still don't know what it is. It's just a feeling which I can definitely identify that, hey, this is that feeling of trust.
Okay. So can I suggest something? Shall we take a moment?
Sure. Hmm.
And I can't. Can you see who's watching us? Whoever's feel like
Yeah.
I can't see who. I'm just side note. I can't see on my phone who's watching, so I
No
only
problem.
comment
There are there
after.
are
Yeah.
there are there's a couple of people who
Yeah.
are watching right now. So
Yes. Okay. Good. So, how about we, all of us, and whoever will be watching after and recording as well,
hmm.
if it helps, it's just a suggestion. If it helps to place your palm, one of your palms where your heart is, you don't have to take a comfortable position,
Okay.
whatever that means to you in that moment. I would suggest you'd be seated like we are right now,
Yes. Yeah.
rather than, or if lying down is better, you can lie down as well. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and take that couple of breaths, cleansing breaths, to clear your nose and the throat.
Hmm.
Yeah. Good. Yes, you can do. You can exhale with your mouth open. That's good. And I invite to, and that includes myself and you, to tune into that. That is a big question. What am I trusting? Because I feel that a lot of people would say, I will trust, but what am I trusting? Right?
True. Yes.
So how about we tune in into that for a few
Okay.
moments?
Okay.
Yeah, we can close our eyes if that helps, or lower the gaze. I will lower my gaze.
Sure. Ooh, there are so many things coming up. Like big questions are coming up in terms of what am I trusting in?
Yeah.
And
So
then
give it one more minute before it.
sure.
Yeah. I sense there are layers to that trust, to that ability
Yes.
to open the mind, the heart, to the soul possibilities, to the possibilities
True.
that we have contracted before.
Yes.
And I sense also that there is the layers that we cover, that inner kind of intuition inside the layers that we cover it with, they're not as hard to break as we sometimes picture them to be.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So, but it's also duality which is coming up that because I'm trusting that it shows up, it is showing up. So I'm kind of now borderline on that trust and belief kind of a scenario. So I don't know whether I'm believing in something or whether I'm trusting something.
Okay. And can it be both?
It can be both, and I think it kind of goes hand in hand. I don't think we can separate these two phenomena or concepts. Uh, but it's like so what we trust, I think, is a very individual experience in terms of the numerous individuals I've interacted with. Some believe, some trust in a higher energy, some trust in what they call God, some trust
Yeah.
in a God man, some trust in just, uh, it's amazing. Like, some people just have that blind trust in that, when I say something to in front of this photo, it happens.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think trust is something which kind of, it's like I don't know, the instrument which kind of measures the strength. But I think now that I think of it, I think trust is something that measures the strength of your belief. Like, for example,
Okay.
just to give a very, very
Yeah.
brief
Yeah.
example,
So.
um, I I believe in God, for example, but then do I trust God?
Okay.
Okay, I believe that God is there for me, but if I trust Him in every single minute, I'm pretty sure my actions will be different.
Okay. Makes sense. So belief is something that comes from, and it makes sense actually, it comes from a human mind, right? It's sort of a mental construct, really, which
Yeah.
we can, and we spoke about it last time also, we can change them, right? We can change our beliefs because we have a certain set of beliefs that we have built up throughout life, and then some of them stop working for us. And then when we find it, because it's a foundation, right, on of kind of our reactions, then we can change them. So it's really coming from the mental construct, right? So you saying I believe in it, so I hear you saying, here in my head I know
Yes, there's
I
a
have a
logical
certain,
conclusion which exists. Yeah.
exactly, yes.
And
And
trust
then
is
you
from
say,
the
do I
heart,
trust it?
which, yeah,
Yes, yeah.
exactly. Perfect.
And
Hmm.
and also, does it go beyond the heart, trust?
Mm.
Because heart
Yes.
is also a very human experience. It is,
Yes.
we're talking about our emotions, right? It's an emotional state.
Yes.
And I think, most of the time it gives us more truth than any mind can ever give. But do we transcend the human body and mind when we listen
Completely.
only to the heart and mind, and we don't go
Mm.
beyond that? So
Yes.
I'm thinking to create that foundation for trust is to see beyond, right? I don't know, for example, what comes to my mind, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit cheesy. It's a creation of life, right? So how do
Yeah.
all people appear on earth, right? Child grows in the womb completely without any, any interference from mother's side or from father's side. There's really nothing they can do.
Mm.
They can wish for it, obviously. I mean, yes, some people plan for children. They do come as sort of they planned, but again, it's such a Russian roulette. And when the child is growing in the womb, it goes from being a tiny little cell to a whole person who has everything. And you can call it, I don't know, miracle of life, whatever you would like to call it, but it's evidence for me, at least, to that there's something beyond
The
my
physical body.
comprehension. Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
beyond my comprehension. How does this happen? Like who's
Yes.
cooking it?
Yeah. Who's cooking
You
it? I
know,
like that.
who's cooking? Who?
Yeah.
The woman is a vessel, really. It's a pot.
True. True.
Yes, the man is a
True.
contributor as well, but who's the cook?
Hmm. So, okay, so we have pretty much established that trust is something which is basically going beyond the physical realms, and basically it's that invisible force, invisible laws of nature, whatever you want to call it, but it's not something which is visible. It is invisible, and at the same time, you can really truly feel it.
Yes. Yes, and anyone can call it whatever they want, because I feel like
Yeah.
once we start labeling something,
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of stereotypes that come in.
Yes, 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 yes. No, so we'll not label it to whatever one wants to trust. But the interesting thing which came up, which you said was beliefs can be essentially broken down and even reconstituted. So it's easier to
Yeah.
develop a new belief system. But I was
Yeah.
thinking that when it comes to trust, once the trust is shaken, they call it like the broken glass, right? It becomes very difficult to kind of mend it um, without the
I
crack.
can, okay. Can we use one example, which is not an easy one, but it's like a loss of a loved one,
Okay.
which for
Okay. Yeah.
many is where people question. They
Yes.
start questioning their beliefs. Yeah. I apologize to anyone who's watching that I'm using such a strong example, but I think this is a very clear and example of when people do lose that trust. And if we dig a little deeper, and this is my exploration,
Mm.
do so. There's a lot of things, right, to loss. However, if we look at it like from a sort of make it simpler, is it really the trust that is broken or mended?
Mm. Right.
Or is it my sort of a person's expectations, which we all have, which FYI, it's not a disease, it's not something that we need to cut out of us. We all have expectations at any one point.
Yeah.
They're just different. They fluctuate. They grow bigger. They grow smaller when we work on them, but they are there. Especially if it involves being attached to someone. So, is it a person's expectations? Is it a person's belief system? Is it that sometimes it's a physical lack, right? So the body also gets attached. It's a physical lack of
Yes.
someone. So
Mm.
like the whole system starts to, just all of a sudden goes into a freeze mode and then starts to transform, to rebuild itself. And so
Mm.
it's very easy to say, I lost my trust because the system is no longer working as it used to be. So now you have to adjust to something. The person has to adjust to
Okay.
something.
So
Yeah.
then, as you're saying this, what is coming to my mind is then essentially we are, so the trust remains intact, whatever that trust is, but you're kind of uh, rebuilding the foundation or the belief system, or, but the trust per se just remains. It's just that it has shifted perhaps on, you trusted a certain way of life, or, you trusted that certain things were going to happen. And now you just shift that trust to something else and now say that, okay, I'm going to trust this, or, I trust this.
Yes. And I may add to this also, the unknown exists whether you like it or not. So,
Yes,
so whether
true.
you choose to trust or you don't choose to
Mm,
trust, it's going
mm.
to be there.
It exists. Yeah, it exists.
And, we're not here to challenge saying, oh, you may or may not trust.
Mm,
Each person decides for themselves. But
mm.
we're here actually exploring, can we help ourselves by shifting, kind of distancing ourselves from that strong innate ability to be one with whatever is beyond human mind.
Something very, very interesting came up right now. And it is like, so, like you said, the unknown forces exist, whether we believe it or not. They're there. They're just there. Okay? The trust is there.
Yes.
So, what changes is perhaps the connection.
Mm,
Uh,
I like that.
so, for example, if I take those few minutes to sit back and connect with the, okay, in my case, I will call it the universal soul, for example, if I just take those 5 minutes to connect with that, then it's like I'm giving fuel to my trust. And the trust
Yes.
through the day gets either evaporated or fueled in. So for example, it probably gets evaporated when I have expectations coming in and, you start questioning that, hey, what happened? And so, but at the same time, if I have connected very well that day, I have that ability to let go and say, I trust what is coming my way.
Yes. And which part of you is connecting, right? It's very important.
Yes, and it's not the mind, it's not the heart for sure. It is something way beyond it, and it does not happen every single day. I would say that I would have a process wherein I attempt to connect to that, but it's not a everyday phenomena that it happens, because perhaps right now the humanly experience is quite heavy, so it takes a bit of time to kind of quieten the noise and just silence out everything and experience that self which is way beyond our physical body.
Yes. So the question is then how can we do that more often? Or can we do that on a more regular basis, right? That's what I feel that is coming up. So how can we do that?
Exactly.
Yeah, what is...
Yeah.
And I like it that you're saying, silencing the mind, being more present with, oneself.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yes, because if I'm trying to solve a problem, for example, I am really engaged in with all my brain, and I will try to connect my past experiences. I will try to think of what Google is saying about how to resolve a problem, and I'm just working on probleming. But if I have to leave it, it means I have to distance myself from my mind, my heart, or wherever that feeling of the problem is there. I just need to disconnect from it.
Okay, this is where I would challenge a little bit and say, do we always have to disconnect to trust from our human experience? From that,
Yes.
that I know what you're saying, that busy mind, that's
Yeah.
a lot of thinking, that that kind of brings down, go in the low vibrations. If you're a believer in energy. However, if it's always there and it's always working, this is my personal belief and experience, that it's working always. It's magic to make sure that we get the best of the experience that we can. It's not necessarily always the one that we thought we wanted, but looking back sometimes, or sometimes being actually also in the moment, we can realize this is the best that can happen. Yeah, that's what I experienced. And so if it's always there, yeah.
Yes.
If
I think it's about the
there,
awareness.
yeah,
If I may
if
just...
it's always there, yeah, about the awareness, yes. And so even if we have these constant thoughts, sometimes we don't have the strength, to be honest, to silence, to quieten, to find that perfect place. And we've discussed this in our previous talks. Sometimes it's just that, it's not even that even life happens. It's this resistance inside happens.
Yes.
More than anything. Let's be honest. It's not even about the life circumstances. It's about resistance to be with yourself, right? But
so in many ways,
you're not
chaos.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that in many ways, what you're saying is basically we don't trust ourselves to be connected through the day.
Thank
you. So perhaps, our belief system has conditioned us to think that it's only via meditation that I can connect and remain connected. Versus...
Isn't that sad? That's such an extreme of New Age. This is what I don't like about... I'm into meditation. I love it.
No, I agree. It's same here. But I think at some point, it's like, I exist no matter what, right? Whether I'm meditating, whether I am playing tennis, whether I'm running, whether I'm doing yoga, or whether I am reading spiritual scriptures, there is a
Yes.
fundamental existence which is existing,
Yes.
right?
For the lack of a
So I
better
think,
word, fundamental existence
yeah.
that exists.
So I guess it's that,
We'll take that.
yeah, I don't know what's the alternate better word for it
I
right now.
understand. Yes, I understand. Yeah. I understand.
So just to have that trust that this existence will exist in that pattern which it has created or it is supposed to be a part of. And it's not, and I'm not saying this out of resignation, but out of that pure joy that you are connected simply because you exist.
Yes. You breathe, therefore you are.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you are.
And
And this I
you know,
am
yeah, yes. And you
and
said,
the experience. Yeah.
what did you say? You said, yeah. So I exist, and throughout the day, you realize you exist. And I will add to that. You, I, others are a miracle of life. There, I said it.
And we all
Okay.
exist no matter what.
Yes, we have, exactly. We have, we have at
Yeah.
some point, we have, won the lottery of, there were lots of different possibilities, lots of different other people could be born, and then, you survived, and that means that you had that stronger survival gene in you that allowed you to be and to grow in your mother's womb and then eventually be born. And when you look at your kind of, I don't know if you've ever done your genealogical tree, there's hundreds and hundreds of people who worked hard for you to be there. I mean, maybe for some people it's like, I don't know, do I see value of life? But then that is a different question. But I believe that I am valuable because because I exist. You are valuable because you are, and you exist. And I think it comes down to, do I trust the, whatever it is, higher powers? Do I trust the unknown also? People who are very logical in their heads, they don't like to use any of these words. But there is this unknown, right?
Yes.
Do I trust that unknown? Do I have the innate ability? Yes, you do.
Yes.
Why? Because you are valuable simply by existing. Yeah. And if and sometimes they say, yeah, life is, you need to be more realistic. And what is being realistic? It's about embracing. The only moment you can really embrace is here right now. So are you alive in this moment? Can you see value in this present moment? And that is the only place you need to be, and you can't be right now.
Yes.
Like, can we be somewhere else? We can't.
No.
I wish.
Absolutely.
Listen. I have, like every human being. Sometimes I wish for to, I don't know, go places.
No, yeah, we all have that. We wish we were in some other place. But the truth is, you can't be anywhere else but where you are currently.
Yes. And so from there, you have two choices. Are you in the worst place in your life? Are you in the best place in your life? And I'm sorry to say, there is no third choice.
Yes.
There is no
And I think, yes. And I think the funny thing is we only know what has happened in the past. We don't know what is going to happen in the future. So to, declare completely as today is my worst moment, is now I'm finding it pretty ridiculous because I don't know the future. For all you know, this might just turn out to be far more better than the future which is coming. Or it could also turn out to be worse than what is coming up.
Yes. Moments. And then you combine them and you see a different picture.
True. So at the end of the day, what matters is, I trust what is. And that it's the best thing for right now.
Yes.
I won't even say best thing, but I trust that whatever is happening right now is what was meant to happen right now.
Yes. And do you think you're making yourself believe that?
So, like I said, so the days when I'm connected, it just feels like a flow. The trust flows. The day where, I've not had that chance to perhaps, where the awareness is zero, probably, where you're just so occupied, you don't get that minutes to just trust. And I think which is why those intervals at regular times through the day are so important. Just to check,
And I
hey,
think,
where
I
am
think
I?
it's okay to have, I think it's okay also to have fluctuation of awareness. Now that you're talking, I'm thinking it's
Because
to
I think
be
it's natural.
always acute. Yeah, it's natural to be always acutely present. It can be tiring in a way, right? So I'm not
Yes,
saying
and
necessarily it will, yeah, I'm not saying necessarily that forget to be aware. No, just to
no,
acknowledge
I
that
hear
it
you.
can be quite tiring.
Because I know that, when we go through this process initially, we tire ourselves down by saying that, hey, you know what, I'm not in the present moment, I'm not in the present moment. And it is so funny because you have the ability to recognize that you're not in the present moment, which pretty much shows that, you are there.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think, like you said, we have labeled awareness in a very different sense. Somehow, awareness and all these mystical factors, so I say, are associated with uh, only these calm and happy emotions. But you can be very much aware even when you're angry. And
Yes, you can be very much present. Let's put it this way.
yeah, yeah,
You can be
and
very
in
much
fact,
present.
absolutely. We can be present when we are jealous. We can be present when we are angry. We can be present when we are irritated.
When we're lost, also, when we're feeling
Absolutely. Or
stuck.
when we are lost. Yeah. But somehow, and I think this now comes back to the logical belief system wherein we have convinced ourselves that uh, awareness is just for those good feelings. But I
Yeah.
think
Or
as a
for those who
first step,
meditate. Right? If you don't
yes,
meditate, you're not aware. Oh my God.
yes,
Lack of
yes.
meditation alert.
Yes, it's like so it's very sensitive, I sometimes my heart goes out for people who kind of and I do get these clients who say that, what, because I've not meditated, I have lost it. And
Yes,
it's like
thank you.
there's so much of pressure to meditate just to feel alive and just to calm yourself. And yeah, that's I think, maybe we can explore this deeper in terms of, what actually happens in meditation or what is that. But all I want to, if I were to give a message to all those people who have that feeling that, if I've not meditated, I have lost it.
Or
I
if
just want to
I've
say,
never meditated, that means that I cannot be aware and present.
yeah, yeah, I just want to say that, trust your existence. The fact that I am and I am through the day, it pretty much means that you exist, and just have belief and, trust yourself. It's
Yeah.
don't make meditation to
Forget
be
if,
some kind,
yeah,
some
yeah.
this, there's this magical place where you escape. And I think that that's kind of borders also on escapism at times versus actually facing your reality in terms of, I'm fully aware of what my reality is and I am okay
Yes.
with that.
And can I just go back to what you said? And I
Sure,
want to
sure.
extend that, right? And I want
Yeah,
to make it very clear. It's I am, I exist, I am valuable.
yeah,
This is all equal. I'm valuable
yes,
because I exist. I exist because I'm valuable. I am because I exist because I'm valuable. Okay,
perfect.
that's yeah, and that I think. Oh my God, if there's we're exploring, but for me right now, if there's any recipe to really go deeper into that trust of what we call life, is to start there. And even for people who've been doing whatever they were doing, practices and, working on personal transformations and,
Yes.
that is not a basic, that is a foundation which we keep going back to, which is sewn through our layers.
Mm, yes. Yes.
It's ingrained in our bones, right? And that helps to see that, yeah. So if I'm valuable at any one given moment,
Mm, yes.
only good can come out of it, even if sometimes that good is hard to see, and I appreciate
True.
that sometimes it's hard to see that. But
Yes.
again, if I remember that I'm talking, I'm writing, I'm drinking, and I'm valuable because I exist, you know
Mm,
and there you have it.
yes. I think there is this energy which I'm sure you can feel, I can feel. And I
Yes.
don't want to add too much right now because
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
it's just calling out that, okay, we just need to stop here. And
We are.
let's vibrate, and let's just vibrate in this energy which has been created right now.
Yes. Thank you, Rupa.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.